To Washington, a group of House Democrats has formed a new task force focused on border security. Joining us now, co-chairs of the Democrats for Border Security Task Force, Congressman Henry Cuellar of Texas and Congressman Tom Suozzi of New York. Gentlemen, good morning to you both. Congressman Suozzi, I'll begin with you because you just won election in your district in New York. Not mainly, but it was a central issue anyway of immigration, and for a Democrat to step into the issue of immigration in a way that we haven't necessarily seen before. How do you view right now what's happening at the border, and what are some realistic solutions to solve the crisis there?
I mean, the bottom line is that the American people know that there's a chaos at the border. Henry lives it every day in his district. And we as Democrats have to talk to the people about what they care about. And this is what people care about. And realistic solutions, listen, I think the Senate bipartisan compromise was a realistic solution. Everybody supported it, from the Chamber of Commerce to the Wall Street Journal to the union president of the Border Patrol, who's a big Trumper. And I said I would support it, even though it doesn't have everything I want in it. But we need to have a compromise. People want this solved. And Henry approached me because he's been working on this issue for many, many years. And together with a group of 25 other Democrats, we're going to make this a priority for the Democratic Party to get a solution to the border crisis.
So, Congressman Cuellar, obviously this needs policy, this needs action, but there are also politics attached. And we know that for a long time, Republicans had the advantage per polling on the issue of immigration. The president and other Democrats trying to reverse that narrative, pointing out to the bipartisan bill that Republicans walked away from. So you tell us, do you think the president did a good job about this in the State of the Union? What more can he and you Democrats do about it?
Well, you know, first of all, most Democrats have ceded the narrative of the border to Republicans. And I think it's important that Democrats like Tom, myself, and other folks and the president start talking about border security. We as Democrats can talk about strong border security and still be respectful of immigrant rights, but we cannot cede the narrative to Republicans like we've done for so many years.
Yeah, go ahead, Congressman Suozzi.
Yeah, I think that, the president really leaned into this issue in his speech, and he's been doing it for a couple of weeks now. And he's come out there and said, listen, I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to move forward. I'm willing to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have done before because I want to get this done and I want to get Israel and Ukraine done. I'm willing to do this. And he says to Trump, he says, why won't you do it? I'll work with you. It's not about me. It's not about you, Trump. It's about the country. And the people of America are sick and tired of the finger pointing. They want solutions. And I think President Biden is leading into solutions.
And President Biden, like, as you say, said, join me, Donald Trump, join me in this when he was down at the border last week. So, Claire, the President of the United States has been dealt this hand, a favorable hand, by Republicans because there is that bipartisan legislation just sitting there, worked on by no less than Republican James Lankford of Oklahoma for months and months, only to be shut down in the House. So President Biden can say, I support this legislation. The Border Patrol Union supports this legislation. What's the holdup?
Yeah, it's really hard, I think, for this narrative in some ways, because that's why Trump really has to be Biden has to really be aggressive on this. It's not enough for him to just talk about it in the State of the Union. I think both these congressmen are correct that the president has to make this a central narrative to his campaign. And Congressman Suozzi, I know you don't want to point fingers, but don't you think it's important to point out? I remember I was there when President Trump was elected. He had a bigger majority in the House than the Republicans have now. He had a majority in the Senate. And there was no plan from Trump that ever got traction in Congress to do anything to solve the border crisis. Nothing. No legislation on the wall, no legislation on asylum. He had no solutions at all when they controlled every branch of government. Isn't that fair, and isn't it important to point that out?
That's absolutely fair. And listen, Mexico never paid for the wall. So, I mean, there was a lot of bluster and a lot of talk, and none of it happened. And the reality is that you mentioned Senator Lankford before. I mean, the bottom line is you couldn't ask for a more conservative, honest, ethical, intelligent Republican than James Lankford. And he said, listen, I'm really ready to get a job done here. I'm willing to make a compromise. And he teamed up with Chris Murray and with Kirsten Sinema. And the president said, I'll sign the bill. And as I said before, the Wall Street Journal, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Border Patrol Union president all said we endorse this bill. And Trump flies in and says, I don't want you to do this deal because it'll give a victory to Biden, and I want to run on the chaos. Now, it's not like anybody's disputing that. And when the American people hear that message more and more, they're going to say that's a lot of BS, and they're going to support the Democrats who are trying to get something done. And hopefully we'll get something done.
Congressman Cuellar, any hope from you on that end inside the House? Republicans got the bill they claimed they wanted, and now are rejecting it. Anything going to change here?
Well, look, and I think, we're all on the same point. That is, the Republicans said there's a problem. Then finally a bipartisan solution comes in from the Senate, and they reject it. They want to have an issue to talk about. And let me just point one more thing. I sit on Homeland Appropriations, and the last two appropriation cycles, we've added $2.4 billion to CBP so they can secure the border. And if you look at the voting records, except for two Republicans that are still in Congress right now, two Republicans that are still in Congress, every single Republican voted against $2.4 billion so we can give so we can provide more Border Patrol agents, more technology, more resources for the border. So we just can't talk about it. We have to roll up our sleeves, don't make it a talking point, put the resources and pass the Senate bipartisan bill.
Yeah, Border Patrol Union said this makes our agents' jobs easier and safer. Pass the bill. Co-chairs of the Democrats for Border Security Task Force, Congressman Henry Cuellar and Tom Suozzi, thanks both for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.